Some great news for Daggerheart fans, which is also some terrible news for critters waiting for Campaign 4, and a major update on the live-action One Piece.
Not bad, boy. Not bad.
Welcome to Tabletop News Tuesday on the Character Sheet, your first look at the week's biggest fantasy and TTRPG news. Today we're talking Critical Role, One Piece, Magic the Gathering, and more. But before we break it all down, why not take a second to hit those like and subscribe buttons? And even turn on those notifications if the mood strikes you. It really helps and we really appreciate it. And then, let's dive into the news. Cannonball! Critical Role appears to be giving Daggerheart every shot to become a massive actual play and TTRPG success, as they have just announced that Matt Mercer's Age of Umbra campaign will begin with a Session 0 next week, before kicking off a whopping 8-episode run starting on May 29th. That means this summer is effectively the summer of Daggerheart and Age of Umbra, and from previous panels at C2E2, we also know that the cast have done a lot more research and development on their characters than for any mini campaign they've ever done before. We also learned in the description for the Session 0 show that both Liam and Laura will not start out with the rest of the main cast on the table, who are all playing members of the community of Desperlock, a small gathering of people just trying to survive in this brutal world of Halcyon where the gods have abandoned them for over 100 years, and terrible creatures lurk inside a sort of moving cloud of shadow and miasma called the Umbra that threatens to overwhelm what remains of civilization. And if you thought it couldn't get any more Soulsborne, the only way to keep the Umbra at bay is for communities of survivors to light pyres to fight back the darkness. This campaign shows massive inspirations not only from the Soulsborne games, but Matt Mercer's love of the equally grimdark Kingdom Death Monster, which he actually plays regularly with folks like Brendan Lee Mulligan, Spencer Stark, and Abria Iyengar. And who knows, this could be the final test to see if fans will tune in for a fully committed, serious, long-term Daggerheart campaign before Critical Role finally decides between Daggerheart and D&D for Campaign 4. But it also means some really bad news for a huge group of Critical Role fans, which we'll dive into at the end of this video.
Oh man, I can't wait that long!
Magic the Gathering is trying to recapture that One Ring mania with their new Final Fantasy set, which is already setting sales records during this pre-order window before it officially releases next month. But instead of issuing just a single true One Ring card, which famously wound up being owned by Post Malone for around $2 million, they're turning to the iconic bird-based transportation of Final Fantasy, with their new mythic rare, the Traveling Chocobo, which will be released not only with special Rainbow Chocobo variants, which will offer blue, green, pink, and other variations of this new mythic rare, but they will also be printing 77 copies, and only 77 copies, of the Golden Chocobo version, to make that the most lusted after chase rare since that One Ring card. While 77 cards means it might sell for a measly $50,000 or $100,000 each instead of the insane $2 million that the One Ring sold for, fans are going to be losing their minds trying to get a hold of the rainbow and gold versions of this card, as it also happens to have one of the most powerful abilities in the set, allowing players to look at the top of their deck at any time and play a land or a bird card they find there, and then double any triggers that playing that card would create, which could mean some truly insane landfall decks are heading our way, along with the massive hunt for the 77 Golden Chocobos, only available in the collector boosters by the way, when the Final Fantasy Magic set drops this June.
Come on, give me it. Give me it.
One Piece Season 2 is still months away, but thanks once again to #1 Dragonlance fan and the live-action series' new Crocodile/Mr. Zero, actor Joe Manganiello, we now know that filming apparently has been finalized for Season 2, and despite the lack of any announcement from Netflix and the departing of former showrunner Matt Owens, that Season 3 is apparently greenlit and about to begin production. Joe said in an interview over with Cinema Blend that, quote, "We've taken a break between Season 2 and 3, so yeah, I'll be heading back later this year, and we'll be working on the next part of the story. So that's about all I could say." Manganiello's character, Crocodile, one of the 7 pirate warlords working with the world government, should play a much bigger role in Season 3, as the show begins to fully dive into that last half of the Alabasta arc. But the fact that the show has already been greenlit for Season 3 and has begun pre-production is amazing news for fans of the show, and a sign that Netflix is committed to One Piece for the long haul. And with 11 major story arcs and over 1,100 chapters of the manga to draw from, they aren't in danger of running out of storylines anytime soon.
I want What a lovely day!
And finally, getting back to that bad news for some Critical Role fans, while we are extremely excited for Age of Umbra and seeing Daggerheart get the full serious actual play treatment, the huge 8-episode run of the not-so-mini-series does basically put a nail in the coffin of any kind of summer release for Critical Role Campaign 4. With 2 Australia live shows taking up fully half of June, and with another huge live show and panel in Gen Con in the beginning of August, there just isn't any realistic way that Matt Mercer and company could get Campaign 4 launched before very late August or early September at this rate. And even that could become dicey with their very early October live show and appearance at New York Comic Con. This has now become by far the largest break the cast has ever taken between seasons, but it could be for some very good reasons besides just their incredibly busy schedule in the World Tour. If this is indeed the end of Exandria, or at least anything resembling the Exandria we knew for the last 3 campaigns, building a whole new setting takes a lot of time. And then of course there's a matter of what system they'll use. By the end of summer, Critical Role will have viewership data from a fully committed, fully serious Daggerheart actual play featuring the full cast and a full narrative arc. And they'll have even more sales data to see how Daggerheart the TTRPG is faring in the marketplace. So they may simply be waiting on those numbers to see if it makes sense to pull the trigger on making Campaign 4 into a Daggerheart campaign, or just having it be a sort of recurring monthly campaign instead. Either way, the Age of Umbra series is going to eat up basically all of the time between live shows this summer, so it will be getting close to sweater weather before we see what Matt Mercer and the cast have cooked up for Critical Role Campaign 4. And that's all we have this week for Tabletop News Tuesday. Let us know what your favorite story was down in the comments, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons.